Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanapram.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can we start Kirtan, if it's okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji. Jaya Radha Radha Vijaya Vihari Jaya Vijaya Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodan Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivarajacharya Ashtotara Sat Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome everyone. So we just have 6 students. Should we wait for others or can we start? How is it?
Mataji, we have dropped the message in the group, so probably they'll be joining.
Okay, that's good. So yesterday's assignment, did you get a chance to look into the verses of your section? Okay, so maybe you can start sharing what are your inferences. Let's start with who? Krishna Priya Mataji, can I ask you to start? Yes? Yes, no? I cannot
Mataji,
hear you because you're muted. Yeah. You're still muted. Krishna Priya Mataji, you're muted.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
So, Dandavat Pranam. 5 to 10 minutes after I will be able to present.
Okay, no problem. Tulsi Mataji, you ready?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. What were your verses?
My verses were about Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, just give me 1 second and oh yeah, I got it. Dhruva Maharaj prayers. Amazing, huh? Okay. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Mataji, first of all, I want to say sorry. I have done my assignment, no doubt. But if any kind of mistake I have done,
This is just, you know, we are taking some inferences from these verses. So don't worry. So yes.
okay. So first, Dhruva Maharaj uh, telling us, or simply we are seeing that he's praying to God, that the one, when he was not in the Krishna consciousness, his senses were sleeping. Like his senses were only working for material desires, not for the spiritualization. Okay? So when he came into Krishna consciousness, he worked very hard. He do devotional services. Then his senses are now awakened. His senses are not sleeping anymore, and they are working for spiritual realization. Okay. And the second point which I have learned is that take a point. Okay. So I got to learn that Lord is the creator of all. But wait,
Mhm. What happened?
Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the second point is the Lord is the creator of all material. The Lord is the creator of this material world, but and he appeared here as a super soul.
Mm.
So somewhat might be questions that why Lord appear here, like everyone questions that why Lord appear in this material world. He is a super soul. He came here for his leelas, for to tell us about everything which we don't know, because we are jivas and we don't have like mind to use in sense mind to use. Okay? And the Lord is the creator of all varieties of manifestation, like fire entering into wood of different shape burns brilliantly in different varieties. Like it example.
Maybe just a suggestion. I don't want explanation. I just wanted like you just state 5 points that, you know, okay, the Lord came and he's performing, you know, like just 5 points because everyone has to get turns. And then we will take the essence of the entire studying different prayers of different devotees. Yes.
The third point is that we understand that Lord is the only shelter for the persons who desire liberation.
Okay.
And the fourth point is that by hearing glories of Lord from pure devotees or meditating upon his lotus feet is far beyond the stage of Brahmanan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that person is never attached to material body or bodily relationships. And at the end of each millennium, and the fifth point, sorry, at the end of each millennium, the Lord dissolves everything manifested within his universe into his belly. And the sixth point is the Lord is a master of three modes of material nature. He's the only enjoyer of all sacrifices.
Good. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. Vaibhavi Mataji, you want to share something?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I could gather the 3 points.
Okay, so you are reciting the prayers of whom?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj. Okay, yes, please.
So the points that I've gathered are like as Bali Maharaj, by the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj, got the vision of understanding the truth. He agreed with great pleasure to accept the punishment awarded him by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he knew that one who is deviated from the truth is not accepted by the society, and therefore, being a great devotee, he accepted what Lord is giving him as a punishment. So the key point from this was that a devotee of Lord is not afraid of punishments given by the Lord and continues to perform his duties for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the second was that whenever in dilemma, always remember this. We should always remember the sacrifices of the devotees, and despite all hurdles, their determination toward the Lord remained the same. Just as Bali Maharaj, although he was surrounded by the asuras, though he chose to remember the determination of Prahlad Maharaj, and which helped him decide and surrender his head to the Lord for the third step, which he promised. And so, just by remembering the sacrifices of devotees, we can find the right path, we can be guided to the right path. So the key point from this was that accordingly, if we follow the footsteps of previous acharyas or the devotees, just like previous Bali Maharaj, we can be successful someday in this devotional practice, or in this life in only if we with the consistency, with determination, if we follow the steps. And the last was that Bali Maharaj was constantly repenting for not being able to fulfill his promises. He was determined. He was determined towards fulfilling it, though, but he was constantly repenting it because he was not being able to fulfill it. Although the point was that although material opulence is so bewildering that it makes even a learned, self-controlled man to forget search for the goal of self-realization, but the Lord of Universe knows everything in and out, and only by the mercy of his great devotees can a person see him as the supreme. Just as Bali Maharaj was guided rightly by Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj. So therefore, we must never leave the association of a devotee even in the hardest times.
But
Uh,
did you observe what kind of prayers when he's glorifying the Lord? Did you see how the Lord is glorified?
uh,
How is his manifestation in the cosmic world? Did you observe that? Was he
Mataji,
very
I
humble?
could read it, but I couldn't get much time to note it down.
Okay, fine. But you did observe that, when Balivar is glorifying, you saw that how he was glorifying how the Lord is present in the cosmic world.
Yes,
And
Mataji.
okay, good. Next, Daya Mataji, you want to share? I think you have the Jiva in the womb, right?
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes
So,
Mataji.
yes, but before everyone starts, I don't want big elaborate points, just simple points, so that everyone gets turns. Like make it a very concise point so that it's easy to get through. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, there, Mataji. So you're from the third canto, right? Yeah.
Yes, third canto. So basically in this Jiva and Ohms is glorifying Lord and praying to that Lord by glorifying. So first glorification he does was that you have various form and you have various eternal form. You are the only one which can by whom mercy I can be free from this homes. And the second was that our Supreme Lord is present in with us in Ohms too as a Paramatma, but he is not affected. He is transcendental. Like we jivas are affected by the material inside the womb, urine, stool, and the blood, but the Lord Supreme
Can
is
you
not
make it short?
okay. And the other point was Jiva is Jiva is conditional, but the Lord is not conditional. Jiva has to take the birth and go through cycle of birth, and he is glorifying. He is praying that by keeping your lotus feet into my mind, I can be free after coming in this world. And the other point was that your Divya Maya is so strong that by coming into this material world, that will affect me. So, if I want to be like free from that Divya Maya, I will. The solution is to keep in mind your lotus feet and serve that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Shubham Prabhu, you want to share? And whom do you have? Kunti Maharani?
Kunti Maharani Shiksha, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Please.
So Kunti Maharani has discussed a lot of topics here, and let's go through one by one. So
No, just keep it short. How many points do you want to share with us? 5?
yeah, 5.
Okay, good.
So Kunti Maharani is discussing the inconceivable qualities of the Lord. So how Krishna is inconceivable. He is everywhere in everything, yet he is invisible to everyone. So a lot of qualities have been discussed like that, and he's unaffected by the material qualities of these three modes of material. And he's one of the pastimes she has shared is of the Damodar Leela, that how Yashoda mother is crying and Krishna was crying, how Krishna was scared seeing Yashoda mother. Although Krishna, although the bhai is also being like also fear from Krishna and how Krishna is. So his actions are very contradictory. His leelas are very contradictory. It can't be understood from a very simple point of view. And now Kunti Maharani is also discussing like who can come to you, who can understand you. One who is fed up from this material world, only that person can understand you. And she has also discussed the form of the Lord, how Lord is so beautiful, how his face looks like, how his like Pankajangre, how his feet looks like, and how his eyes looks like. And by just glancing on the material world, all the things are being doing performing very well. So and and she's also discussing how Krishna helped him and his family
Okay. Yes.
in this material world. So, and what will in the end, she's praying and describing what will happen one who will pray to the Lord, one who will surrender to the Lord. So that's what it has been discussed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, Jyoti Mataji. Whom did you have?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Actually, yesterday I was not there for the class as some urgent work came. So I was not getting one topic, but I have prepared one topic if any like contestant who is not there, I can present one topic.
Which one?
For Arjuna prayers.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So, five points.
Yeah. So first, it is very nicely written that when we present anything to the Lord, first we should glorify Him and present our prayers. So that point I liked it very much. Then second was this key. It's given regarding the spiritual master, like how it penetrates our heart and frees us from the material energy. And third is given is like how a devotee of the Lord is fearless because of the protection by the Lord, and how the Lord protects his devotees. So, and fourth is how Krishna, in his variable forms, he penetrates throughout the material energy, and with that, he helps a devotee to transcend the material energy and go into the spiritual world.
Very nice. Thank you.
So this 4 points, and one more point which I understood is the how he has been like through the spiritual master, the Krishna facilitates guides the devotees how to approach him, and how important we should not judge the relation between a Krishna and his devotee because they are transcendental. It's not understood by the material eyes.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Now, Krishna Priya Mataji, you want to share something? Or you want some more time? Yeah. Yes. You want to share? You still muted. Yes. Good.
Yes, I'm almost prepared. So can I share this presentation?
Yes. So, whom are you? You have Gajendra, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Just 5 points. That's good enough. Yes, Krishna Priya Mataji.
Mataji is written host disabled participant screen sharing.
Or it's okay, just read out 5 points. That's good
Okay.
enough.
So, Mataji, so my topic is Gajendra. And I will start with the mood of Gajendra. The mood of Gajendra was, he was in a pain and he wanted that he should not live anymore. And he was thinking that I should not wish to live anymore as I am from this pain. And as soon as God relieves me from this situation, I will leave this body, because this body of elephant is of no use, because it is ignorant of the Atma part. So the qualities, the potencies, what he shared.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji. Just read out 5. Yeah, just
In his prayer, he mentioned there is the Lord has potencies like creative potency, maintaining potency, annihilating potency, then liberating potency, all pervading potency, illuminating potency, and unmanifested potency, because avyakt, he is already situated in avyakt form also, and inconceivable potency. And if we talk about the qualities of the Supreme Lord, he is eternal and transcendental. He is a supreme controller. He is omniscient. He is all pervading and omnipresent. He is self-sufficient. He is the source of liberation. He is beyond material qualities. And last, Lord is an on-stage artist. His features and activities are difficult to be understood even by the demigods.
Yeah, great.
So I have elaborated these points, but I can't show the presentation. So.
Yeah, maybe on the last day, when we finish, then maybe if you want to, you can share.
And we can't say that this verse says of this quality and potency, because it is repeating and there is a mix of quality and potency in each verse.
Right, very nice. Thank you. That's nice observations by all. Tanvi Mataji, did I give you something? No. Yes, no? Did you get anyone? Did you get any devotees? Were you present yesterday?
No, I was not there in the session.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Then Devika Mataji, you wanna share?
Mataji, then we'll pranam.
Yes. Yeah. So who
So,
do you
am I
have?
audible, Mataji?
Yes, you're audible. And who do you have? Prahlad?
Sukadev Goswami, Mataji.
Sukadev Goswami. Yeah. Good.
So, Sukadev Goswami has mentioned a few of the points, and I have wrote some of them. So, he mentioned Bhakti Yoga is the only process by which we can attain the personality of Godhead, and he is called as inconvincible way. He is only getting through the Bhakti Yoga. And also the second point is the devotees who are known to the his transcendental form. They are experience the merciful nature of the Godhead. Also, if the one who respect the pious Vedas, they are protected by the Lord. And third point is the Lord will always, the Lord Chaitanya has accepted many devotees from different communities. He has also mentioned that he is the Lord of, he is the servant of the Lord. He does not belong from any community. And that is the way of self-realization. And also the charity and opening of hospitals and should be done in relation with the Lord. This is way they are reached to the final destination, to the real goal.
And also the Lord is present wherever such pure transcendental is performed. And also another thing is that the devotional process of chanting, hearing, and remembering the Lord, and reading Bhagavad Gita and all the pious activities can give in the desired result of associating with Lord by discharging the transcendental loving surface of the Lord. Even the very sound of Lord Krishna or Rama can at once surcharge the atmosphere of spirituality. So these are the points that I mentioned.
Very nice. So, why did we give like different devotees and different verses from the Bhagavatam? It is to establish, you remember in the previous classes, one of you asked a question, why Vishnu is, why is the Vishnu's picture was on the Isopanisad, but we worship Krishna, Krishna is at home and Vishnu is at work. That's the only difference between both of them. But he exhibits all these qualities, the qualities that we were discussing in mantra 4 and 5 and 8. You see how he's inconceivable, omnipotent, omniscient, how he's beyond the modes of material nature. And the Uttamadhikaris, the Mahajanas, they have the realization of these qualities, right? They have realization of these qualities. And then I want to show you a slide. Everyone can see my screen? So this is a verse from the Bhagavatam, second canto, 7th verse and 53. Here, Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that the Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated, and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of the illusionary energy of the Lord. So the perfect knowledge doesn't mean that we know only about Krishna childhood pastimes, Krishna's, pastimes in Vrindavan, Dwaraka, and Mathura, but also learning that how he is existing in this cosmos, how he is inconceivable, how he is omnipotent, how he is, all pervading, and how he is beyond any faults. Now, Prabhupada writes some of the points that I have taken from the purport. The science of learning a subject matter seriously is different from the sentiments of fanatics. Fanatics of fools may consider Lord's activity in relationship with external energy to be useless for them, and they may falsely claim to be higher participants in the internal energy of the Lord. But factually, the Lord's activity in relation with the external energy and internal energy are equally good. By reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam as a scientific presentation, the conditioned souls will gradually be promoted to higher status of transcendental knowledge after being freed from the illusionary energy based on the sense enjoyment. So what does it mean? It means that we have to appreciate how the Lord is present in this cosmos. Upanishad, the Isopanisad is constantly talking about how Lord is present in this cosmos, how he is the maintainer, how he is the sustainer, and how he is actually liberating the conditioned souls. But it is very much necessary that we should be appreciating and glorifying the Lord. So it helps us to develop a detachment from the material world. And then when we read the pastimes of the Lord, like Rasa Leela, then we will be really appreciating. Otherwise, we will see all these pastimes in a very mundane sense. You remember yesterday in one of the purports, Prabhupada was saying, what is the epitome of the enjoyment? What was the epitome of the enjoyment? To join Krishna in the Rasa Leela, isn't it? But how do we know what is, how glorious is to join the Rasa Leela when we are still very much attached to the material world, right? So, and also we see the mood of the Uttamadhikaris, like how they're constantly taking shelter of the Lord and they're constantly seeing Lord's hand in this material world. Is that clear? Was the exercise helpful? Was it helpful?
Mataji.
Yes,
Now
Mataji.
we will do a quick recap of the mantra 6 and 7. So this is Kanishtadikari. So we have seen the 3 kinds of devotees, the categories. And Kanishtadikari, he's a beginner devotee. So he has what qualities? He worships the Lord in the temple according to the faith and scriptural injunctions. So by that way, he's anupasyati. He's systematically observing. But he is still immature, and because of that immaturity, he cannot ascertain another devotee's position. And oftentimes he gets into quarrels with other devotees. Not oftentimes, sometimes. I'm sorry. And he's still in a very, very materialistic in nature, you know. Then coming to Madhyamadikari. Madhyamadikari exhibits 4 qualities. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. He considers Lord as the object of love. Maitri, he makes friends with the devotees. Kripa, he is compassionate and preaches to the innocent. And Upeksha, he avoids the atheist and materialistic association. Then Uttamadikari. What are the qualities of Uttamadikari? He sees everything in relationship with the Lord, right? And he sees everyone as part and parcel of the Lord. And he preaches universal brotherhood by his personal example. And anytime he's not under the illusion or lamentation or under the fear, because he does not feel hackened or stereotyped or stagnant in devotional service, because he's constantly getting inspiration from the super soul within. Dadami Buddhi Yogantam, Bhagavad Gita 10:10, right? Now, in Mantra 8, there are lots eternal qualities that are being discussed. Sukram, omnipotent, how he is free from grief and lamentation and completely spiritual. That's why you have seen all the prayers, what you have recited. The devotees are praying to the Lord, right? Because the Lord is never under the clutches of this Maya, but the Jivas are. Akyam, he is without a material body, means that he is completely spiritual. Avaranam, beyond reproach. Whatever the activities the Lord does, it is completely faultless. Then, Asnaviram, without veins. That means he doesn't have a gross body. Shuddham, pure. Whoever comes in contact with him, they also become pure. Apapavidam, prophylactic in nature, uncontaminated. He always remains uncontaminated. Kavir, he's omniscient, great thinker. Manasi, most intelligent. Paribu, greatest and controller of all. Swayambur, he's self-sufficient and completely independent. And the last, Yathato Arthan Vyadhat Swasti Bhayam Sambhaya. From time immemorial fulfills desires of everyone. Because he is a person, he also deals with us in a very personal way in fulfilling the desires. So, any questions or comments so far? Or anyone wants to share anything? Yes, no? So today we will go to mantra 9, 10, and 11, hopefully. So mantra 9, 10, and 11, they are actually triplets. Why are they triplets? Because they have the same topic of discussion. So 9 is talking about Vidya and Avidya. 10 is talking about how is the wise taking the best out of the Vidya and leaving the Avidya. And then also 11 is talking about the results of Vidya and Avidya. Yes, Jyoti Mataji.
Mataji had this question that how Krishna is transcendental and he is pure. So when like the soul is also transcendental, like so when a soul, when it gets like when the soul is like when it gets its original form and reaches its final destination, so the soul also becomes as pure, right?
Yeah, yeah. We won't carry any of our gross or subtle bodies.
So whatever material contaminations will have, will everything will.
Yes, completely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurudmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So today we will be reading mantra 9, 10 and 11. So we'll start with 9. Andam tham tama pravisanti ye avidya upasyate tato bhuya ivate tamo yatu vidyayam rataha. So word to word meaning: Andam, gross ignorance; tamaha, darkness; pravisyanti, enter into; ye, those who; avidyam, nescience; upasyate, worship; tataha, than that; bhuyaha, still more; iva, like; te, they; tamaha, darkness; ye, those who; you, also; vidyam, in the culture of knowledge; rataha, engaged. Those who engage in the culture of nescient activities shall enter into darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. Now, interestingly, here Prabhupada translates Vidyam as so-called knowledge. But actually, if you see, mantra 9, right? The previous acharyas, they don't translate knowledge as so-called knowledge, vidyam as so-called knowledge, just said knowledge only. But Prabhupada wanted to make it more clearer. He said culture of so-called knowledge. Now, what are the two streams here that we are saying? Vidya and avidya. So what is vidya? Vidya means the so-called knowledge, and avidya means nescience, right? So why is vidya more dangerous than avidya, according to the shloka? Anyone? Yes, Jyoti Mataji. You're muted. Sorry. You're still muted.
Sorry, Mataji, my voice is audible?
Yes.
When we are in trying to have knowledge, can we have like perceive, we may perceive things wrong, and we are not able to learn the correct things. But when we don't have any knowledge, we try to approach everything with a this is what I understand.
Yeah. Nice. See, vidya means that it is referring here, vidya actually means referring to the spiritual knowledge, right? What is spiritual knowledge should help us? To help us to revive us from the matter itself. Our material identification has to be removed. So vidya means that which destroys matter. Avidya means that which is engaged only to create matter, in simple. But the problem with the so-called knowledge is it is still not completely helping us to go beyond the matter. Right? There's still some tinges that we are stuck in this material world. So, Okay, we'll read. Yes, Shubham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, here the so-called knowledge, is it referring to the knowledge of dharma, earth, and kam, moksha, or beyond that?
It is referring to the impersonalism, Mayavadism.
Okay.
Because they don't want to take shelter of Krishna, but they want to just want to merge into him. You know, like
Okay.
even though, like if you remember the prayers of Lord Brahma, he says that even though these people on their own ability, they do a lot of tapasya and they do a lot of austerities, and then they reach to that point of merging. But then they will fall down. Fall down and do what? They will engage in philanthropic activities. So again, they continue in the cycle of birth and death. Now, why do they fall down? The first question. When they reach the impersonal Brahman, when they merged already, why do they fall down? Because there is inactivity. If you remember from Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, I don't remember the purport of which verse, but Prabhupada says that, you know, inactivity is not the, the normal situation of the soul, right? Soul means to be active. So how can you be inactive? So you are devoid of service. When you're devoid of service, you can stay there, but you have to fall down. It's like going in an aeroplane, you know, the aeroplane goes 20,000 feet above or 30,000 feet above. So you can stay in the aeroplane until some time, but you can't be there forever. You have to reach to your destination. You have to come down and reach to your destination. So someone goes into the impersonal Brahman, they merge there, but they can't stay there because they become very unhappy, dissatisfied. And then they fall down, but they fall down and they become big philanthropists. So here in the first paragraph, Prabhupada says that, you know, avidya, ignorance, is undoubtedly dangerous, but more dangerous is mistaken or misguided knowledge. This is the meaning of vidya here, the so-called knowledge, which is mistaken or misguided. Now, Prabhupada goes and explains how there are different, the modern education, the modern civilization is quite advanced in the massive education, in the scientific approach, but still they haven't found the, they haven't found the peace. Why is it so? Why is it so? Anyone? We have advanced. Yes, Krishna Priya Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. As we read in the Bhagavad Gita, there are certain qualities. If those qualities are there in any human being, that is said to be a knowledge.
Right.
So, having those qualities is the real knowledge. Apart from this, everything is waste of time. So, we can't say that if anybody who is engaged in other knowledge, so he's not at all knowing about Krishna, or he's not connecting to Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah. Shubham Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, same point, because we are not connected with the source of knowledge, that is Krishna. That is why all the scientists and all these things are still lacking.
Yeah, still we are unhappy, although we have so much material advancement. But that is all, yeah. Because Prabhupada is explaining that, whatever we are doing here is like a patchwork for the material miseries. Now he gives an example in this purport saying that like a cobra. Cobra is dangerous, right? But the jewel on the cobra, say for example, a cobra has a jewel. It is more dangerous. Why is it more dangerous than the cobra itself? Because we are enamored by the jewel and we forget about the cobra can bite us. We are so much caught up in grabbing the jewel and we forget that the cobra itself is dangerous. If you see a cobra, you will just run away, or you will, try to protect yourself, isn't it? You don't go near him. But when you see a jewel on the cobra, what happens? You get enamored. Okay, let me go. I want to take this jewel on the cobra. So it is more dangerous. So when we have misguided knowledge, it is leading us only into more and more sense gratification. And then we are constantly doing this sense gratification, Prabhupada says, under the flags of industrialism, economic development, political activism, altruism, and so on. And because of that, we are excluding Krishna away. We are putting Krishna aside and we wanted to be happy. Now, Bhagavad Gita 7.15, you remember what is it talking about, 7.15? 4 kinds of people who do not surrender to Krishna. You remember that? Who are the 4 kinds of people who do not surrender to Krishna and why? Yes, Shubham Prabhu.
Mataji, if I'm right, it was Maya Apratgyana and miscreants and some like I'm not able to remember. I need to see. Sorry. One
No.
was Maya Apratgyana that I remember.
Maya Pratakran, Dushkrinatas, Mudhas, and
Mula
Naradhas.
Naradham.
Right, the 4 people. Now, who is Dushkritas? Who are miscreants, like basically atheists, right? And Mudas, they're working like foolish people, like 99 point, no. Most of the people are in that mentality. They're working like very hard. And Prabhupada gives the example of comparing with ass. Ass like work mentality. Working, but there is no fruitive result. Then 99.9% of the people of the population is under the Naradamas, lowest among the mankind, because they don't know any set of rules or regulations, and they're working and they're engaged in sense gratification. And Maya Pritagrans are the basically self-made gods. But what is Vedic? What is the purpose of Vedic education? First of all, it should help us to understand Krishna. It should awaken the Krishna consciousness in us. It will help us to accept the Ishavasya principle and help us to revive our natural situation, our natural original constitution. But because of this mistaken education, and these people, they are very prominent and they spread the knowledge in a very misguided way. And the 2 prominent ones were the Vedavada Rathas and Maya Pritagrans. That is what Prabhupada is discussing in this particular purport. Who are Vedavada Rathas? They study the Vedas, but they interpret Vedas to fulfill their purposes from the Vedas. Basically, they engage in karma kanda. You perform this ritual, you get this fruit. You perform that sacrifice, then you get this kind of fruit. And they don't accept the authority of the acharyas. Did you ever encounter with people who say that, I am born in a Brahmana family. You don't need to tell me about Bhagavad Gita. I know everything. I know the Vedas, right? So they just go by the name tags, but they actually don't accept the authority of the acharyas. And they also misguide people in the name of the Vedas. They give layman explanations to all the Vedas. They misinterpret the Vedas. And because of this, the main purpose of the Vedas to know Krishna is lost. And because they're misguiding, these people enter into the darkest regions. They are more dangerous than the people, normal people. Now, another category of the people are Maya Pratignans, whose knowledge is stolen by Maya. Who are these people? Who are actually, they themselves call them as gods, self-made gods, and they promote saying that no need to worship any other god, just worship me. and also indulge in all kinds of illicit activities. So because they're constantly under the Maya, under the illusion, they also misguide people. Now, there are many people who get cheated by coming under the illusion of Vedavada Rathas or Maya Pratagnans, because they speak the flowery language of the Vedas and people get attracted. So these people are more dangerous. So they will be entering into more darker regions of hell because of misguiding. But whom should we take knowledge from? Prabhupada says that we should take knowledge from those people who come in the Guru Parampara. And then who can give us the knowledge as it is. Right? Here, if you take the last but one paragraph, Prabhupada says one must approach a bona fide spiritual master in order to understand the transcendental message of the Vedas. Sorry, just a second. That is the direction of Mundaka Upanishad. These Vedavata Ratha people, however, have their own acharyas who are not in the chain of transcendental succession. Thus, they progress into darkest region of ignorance by misinterpreting the Vedic literature. They fall even further into ignorance than those who have no knowledge of the Vedas at all. Can you give an example? How do we see these kind of people even in today's world? How do they misinterpret the Vedic knowledge? Can you think of some examples? Anyone? Jyoti Mataji, yes.
They may think that by following the rituals, they themselves becomes God, and they just have to follow the ritual, and just by studying and knowing everything, they can claim themselves as God.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. So they promote only ritualistic, activities, but they don't actually take anyone closer to self-realization, right? They don't take anyone closer to bhakti. And because of this, what happens? People eventually will turn atheistic. In India, many youths, they tune into this kind of mentality these days. They say that I don't believe in God, I believe in science. Did you hear? But actually, they're not born atheists, they're not core atheists. But they never had a proper explanation of why they're doing what they're doing. Right? They don't have a proper understanding because there is no spread of this literature or teachings of these literatures. Right? Thank you. Yes, Shubham Prabhu.
Mataji, there is a very big organization in India, I won't name it, who only studies 4 Vedas, and they spread the message that God is they don't exist, they only do havans and all. And they spread the message like Krishna was born and he also died.
Right.
Such kind of nonsense they just spread.
Yeah. So another thing, thank you, Prabhu. There are so many organizations. But, one of the main reason why Srila Prabhupada presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, nowadays there are 600 editions of Bhagavad Gitas. But everyone, they want to misinterpret what Krishna says. Some of the Bhagavad Gitas, they even remove Krishna. Right? And in some Bhagavad Gitas, they tell that, the 5 Pandavas are like our 5 senses, all those misinterpretations. But never they actually focus that, how Krishna is actually asking us to surrender to him. So we see that is very, very prominent. And they have and people also are filled with so many misconceptions. Although they're very pious people, but they get easily cheated because they come under the grab of these kind of people. So it is very important to see that what kind of vidya is, promoted. That's why we need to study the Shastras. Now, why is Isopanisad warning us? It's warning us there is avidya, anyways there is nescience, but there is also the problems of so-called misdirected knowledge. And it is creating a bigger problems, right? And Prabhupada also gives another example like a decoration on the dead body. Like for the lamenting relatives, they decorate the dead body with so much paraphernalia. But actually, the soul already left and the body is going to turn into ashes. So this so-called knowledge is like a decoration on the body. So it is useless. Now, going to 10, are there any questions or comments in verse 9? Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, if we have in our surrounding these kind of people, so how to deal with them?
Yeah. First of all, we preach to them, we share the knowledge, why, what they're saying. But if they're very inimical, they're not ready to listen, feed them a lot of prasad. Yeah. You try to explain, but don't get into arguments because some people are not ready to accept it. So we should not agitate them. So we try to explain them from the Shastric point of view, and then we can also quote, by different, like Isopanisad, you can quote from Bhagavad Gita, and tell them that how this is not the purpose of knowing the Vedas or doing rituals. If you remember, even the very famous pastime of Krishna, lifting the Govardhan hill, right? What happened in the beginning of the Govardhan hill? Worship of the Govardhan hill, sorry. They were arranging sacrifices. Nanda Maharaj was very busy arranging all the sacrifices. And Krishna goes and he asks, why are you doing this? Who asked you to do this for Indradev? Then Nanda Maharaj says that, no, this is coming parampara. It is done by our ancestors, so we should also be doing that. Then Krishna refutes it. No, let's worship Govardhan. Right? So there is this kind of mentality exists. So we should explain to them why this kind of rituals are not necessary, and then explain from the Shastra. It will help them. Is that okay, Mataji? Mataji, you there?
Yes.
Okay. So verse 10, this verse is talking about results of Vidya and Avidya. So in verse 9, we were discussing what is Vidya and Avidya. But in 10, we will be discussing the results of Vidya and Avidya. Anyad eva huru vidyaya, nyayad ahur avidyaya. Iti shushruma dhiranam ye nastat vikshakshare. Word-to-word meaning. Anyad different, eva certainly, ahu said, vidyaya by the culture of knowledge, anyad different, ahu said, avidya by the culture of nescience, iti thus, shushruma I heard, dhiranam from the sober, ye whom, naha to us, that, vikshakshare, explain. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. Now here the culture of knowledge is talking about the spiritual knowledge, not the so-called knowledge. Vidya here is talking about spiritual knowledge. Now, as how Krishna Priya Mataji pointed out, from the Bhagavad Gita 13.8 to the 12, there are 20 items of knowledge, isn't it? 20 or 18? 18 items, right? There are 18 items of knowledge. Now, Krishna declares that anything beyond these 18 items is considered nescience. And these 18 items are considered to be knowledge. Now the question comes is, out of these 18 items, what is the most important item based on which the rest of the 17 are revolving? You can see through. Krishna Priya Mataji,
Faith in God.
which one?
Faith.
Faith. What?
Everything starts from faith.
No. There is just see through these 18 items. Shubham Prabhu.
Is it Mataji approaching a bona fide spiritual master?
Yes.
Like, is it the center of the everything? Like, if we are approaching the bona fide spiritual master, then all these objects of knowledge we can understand.
Yes. But I think Prabhupada writes in the purport something. 1 second. Let me see in the. Just give me 1 second. Yes, accepting the bona fide spiritual master. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the quality number 6, serving the guru, approaching the bona fide spiritual master, because he will help us to go from the avidya to the vidya. Yeah. Then, now tell me, okay, then we understand these 18 items are the items of knowledge. Now, what are some of the problems of avidya? Why we have to not engage in avidya? What is the problems? Can you think of some problems? How does avidya make us is problematic? Yes, Dayanataji.
That will be reason of our bondage in this material world.
Bondages, always engaged in cycle of birth and death. Yeah.
And we will not be good in our service towards Krishna.
Okay. Any more? You can see in the Isopanisad, Prabhupada writes in the purport of this mantra 10. Prabhupada listed many qualities, like some of the problems with the material knowledge. Can you state any? Did you find some? Yes, Shubham Prabhu.
Mataji, it is written here, one should learn to avoid duplicity in his dealings with others.
Okay.
So simplicity.
Sorry.
Simplicity. So simplicity is the point. So it's one of the aspects of knowledge that one should be very simple.
No, I'm asking what are the problems of material knowledge? What are the problems of avidya? Why avidya is problematic? We can accept knowledge when we see the problem with nascent knowledge, right? So we want to know what are some of the problems that are caused by the material knowledge. Jyoti Mataji?
It makes us materially bound. It causes attachments. It
Yes.
it is difficult for us to cross those attachments, and we become our sense gratification increase so much.
Yes, since it's only it's binding us to the material world and a lot of sense gratification. It's only about sense gratification, actually, right? There, Mataji?
Mataji, here the other point is also written that the scientists who are building their who are increasing their knowledge and they're making the atomic bomb. So they are only working on the things which will cause destruction of this world.
Right. So just
Modern science.
advancement of so-called knowledge, it is just advancement of material knowledge is just leading to destruction. Yeah, the lethal weapons, manufacture of lethal weapons. Yes, that's one problem. What is another problem? From the purport, you can see Prabhupada has written.
Mataji, another was that we are busy in getting more and more education. Like if we are sufficiently educated, we are earning what is needed, but we are want to earn more and more. Greed is increasing due to that knowledge.
Okay, grade is increasing. Okay. And also the point that, we're working, constantly working. And Prabhupada gives the comparison with the ass.
Yes.
We are becoming asses. Yeah. So, and what are the other problems of material knowledge? You see, where Prabhupada writes that the youth has no longer respect for elders. And the universities, they don't teach any spiritual education. That is lost. And students are not trained in brahmachari. No one knows what is brahmachari, right? And religious principles are only taught for sake of name and fame, right? And also nationalism and animosity. There is a constant strife, in social and political fields. So that's why there are many, many problems that the material education is just giving. But we think that this is the most important achievement of our lives. Right? Daya Mataji, do you agree with this? You're a teacher, right? You're teaching the kids?
Yes, I am teaching that is a child level project, but I used to give tuitions to in my home.
Yeah, so, but you see, that's why it is important, but along with your material teachings, you incorporate some spiritual teachings also, because the materially, they'll just become working like acid.
Yes, Mataji, I used to give examples these things are working on their places. There is some personality, and I gave example of Krishna. If I explain scientific topics, so I used to give scientific Krishna as behind all this thing, Krishna is there.
Yeah, yeah. So, and because of the increase of this material education, what is happening? There is a constant endeavor to dominate. And because we are not so successful, we end up in frustration. And we are constantly facing, we are baffled by birth, death, old age, and disease. Right? So Prabhupada here gives the example that, we should not be, we should become sober. We should become sober. We have to become dhira. What is dhira? Dhira means one who is not disturbed by material illusion. And how is that we can achieve that stage? Only when we have spiritual, strong backup. When we have spiritual realizations, then only we can become dhira. Then how do we become dhira? Even we have to hear from a dhira, right? To become a dhira, we have to hear from a dhira. By hearing from a self-realized person, we will also become undisturbed. And what are some of the qualities that we should develop? Submissive hearing. We have to follow the regulative principles and always taking shelter of the bona fide guru. If not, that we will just end up as adhira. Adhira means he doesn't have any training in the spiritual knowledge. And there will be the selfish people, but they're posing very renounced, very advanced. Now, Prabhupada at the end of the purport, if you see, he gives, let me share. Right. last but before the third paragraph. The material body and the mind are bad bargains for the spiritual living entity. The living entity has actual functions in the living spiritual world, but this material world is dead. As long as the living spiritual spark manipulates the dead lumps of matter, the dead world appears to be living world. Actually, it is the living souls, the part and parcels of the supreme living being, who move the world. The Dhiras have come to know all these facts by hearing them from the superior authorities and have realized this knowledge by following the regulative principles. Right? And then furthermore, Prabhupada says, to follow the regulative principles, one must take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. The transcendental message and regulative principles come down from a spiritual master to the disciple, and such knowledge does not come in the hazardous way of nescient education. One can become a Dhira only by submissive hearing from the bona fide spiritual master. Arjuna, for example, became a Dhira by submissively hearing from Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead himself. Thus, the perfect disciple must be like Arjuna, and the spiritual master must be as good as Lord himself. This is the process of learning Vidya knowledge from the Dhira, the undisturbed. Now, if you want to preach, if you want to lead people on the right path, then we should also become Dhira. And then we also need to hear Prabhupada is saying that we should make the best use of the bad bargain. And what is the bad bargain? Having a material body. And what is the best use? By engaging it in Krishna's service. So we will take a 5-minute break and then we will come back and do mantra 11. Is that okay with everyone? Are there any questions or comments, or you want to share anything from verse 9 or 10? No? So we'll come back in 5 minutes. Is that okay? 8:17.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a question.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, please. Can you
Hare
hear
Krishna.
me? Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear
Hare
me now?
Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, we are, I will say that Vidya is related to spiritual knowledge.
Mhm.
So, there is, it is not intentionally pointing out, but we see in the society, there are certain people involved in justice system, like um, they are, and there are certain doctors also, they misuse their knowledge.
Mhm.
So they know so much, but their knowledge, knowing too much, they are not doing the correct actions with respect to their patients or their clients.
Mhm.
So how to see that thing?
Basically, this is not falling under the 18 items of knowledge, anyways. So it is not the actual knowledge. I mean, what do you say? It is not the spiritual knowledge, it is material knowledge, right?
See, but it is like again you said we should not be bothered about anything happening in the society, but
I
the
didn't say that.
society is like we should. So how to educate those people who are already into these things and they know so much about their sections of codes, laws, but they are not. They are using these for their selfish purposes. So how can we like introduce Isopanisad to such organizations and such people?
Just distribute books to them, give prasadam, Prabhupada will do the work.
Okay.
Yeah, and then as they read the books, they will get more questions. So we should be prepared to answer them, right? Before we go into, is that okay?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Before, similar lines to what you asked, before we go into verse 11, I forgot to mention 2 points from verse 9. When we speak about Vidya, where Prabhupada is saying misguided and misinterpreted Vidya, this is also seen in the spiritual circles. Not only Maya, Pretagnan, and Vedavadaratas. This is also seen even in our Chaitanya Sampradaya, right? There are, because of this misinterpreted knowledge, there are 13 apasampradayas that came across. I want to share that slide. Okay. Yeah, these are so many apasampradayas. They are listed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Aula, Baula, Kartavaja, Neda, Dharavesha, Sanis, Sahadya, Shakibeki, Smarta, Jati Gosai, Ativadi, Chudadhari, Goranganagari. And they, interestingly, they all say that we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But they all have misinterpreted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message. If you have heard in the lectures or read Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's life biography, you will see that, there are many people who wanted to Jati Gosais, and there are some other people, they wanted to even kill Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They are very, very envious of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very, very strong, and he was cutting all these people because they're spreading apasampradaya, right? Like even in Vrindavan, even to till date, there exist this kind of apasampradayas, but in the grab of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sampradaya, right? And like Sahajas, they already think that they are already gopis, and they start dressing up gopis, and they already say that we have the gopi bhav. And this is one of the reasons why Prabhupada is very, very strict with us, that, he wanted us not to associate with any other people apart from ISKCON. We stick to our founder Acharya and study the books very, very deeply. And I also heard that some of these sampradayas where there is illicit sex activities also were going on. So we see how Prabhupada has protected us, even amongst, this big culture of Chaitanya Sampradaya. We should be very faithful to Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, and protect us from the so-called, avidya, misinterpreted knowledge. That's why we go to the other temples. When we go to the, Mayapur, Vrindavan, we go take darshans of the temples, but we don't hear from them. Right? We are here only from Srila Prabhupada and the bona fide gurus in our ISKCON society. We don't go and hear from others. Because one wrong thing that you hear, it can affect your Krishna consciousness, your bhakti life. There are many people, they say that Prabhupada hasn't given you everything. Did you hear this kind of comments before? So I'm moving into another sect. Yeah, there are this kind of discussions and comments, but Prabhupada has given us everything. Prabhupada has given us everything, but it's just that we are not mature enough to appreciate what Prabhupada has given to us. In the earlier verse, I have shown 2753, Bhagavatam. In that particular purport, Prabhupada says that before anyone jumps into the 10th canto, they should be first reading the first 9 cantos and come in a very systematic way. So we should always stick to this principle of anupasthiti. What is anupasthiti? Following and observing what our acharyas are teaching us. We should always follow the instructions. I can give you an example. In my previous accommodation, there is another devotee. She's an initiated devotee, Brahman initiated devotee from ISKCON itself. I don't want to name under whom. And she's very dedicated. She chants, she used to go for Mangalarti, everyday programs. But slowly she became so deviant, and she started going to other temples, started listening from them. And they poisoned her, saying that, Prabhupada hasn't given you everything. Why you have to just stick to the philosophy, but you should actually enjoy the more intimate pastimes. Prabhupada hasn't discussed these pastimes with you. Right? And then she left ISKCON and she moved on. So one day we had a conversation because we are just, next door neighbors. So I was just asking her, what made you to go to them? I didn't want it to, get into an argument, but I wanted to see what made her to go. And these kind of things doesn't happen over a night. Please remember. It will happen slowly, slowly, every little seed that will add on. Right? And she was telling me that, how she's getting a lot of excitement by hearing all those pastimes, So she was telling that all these things, but Prabhupada has given a nectar of devotion. We will see. First 19 chapters, and after that, after the 9 from chapters from 22 to later on, we will see all Krishna's pastimes. Prabhupada is talking about sthai bhav, vyavicharika bhav, all these kind of bhav. Prabhupada hasn't hidden anything from us. Prabhupada has given the Krishna book even in the beginning of the moment. Because he thought that, okay, he has to present Krishna book. Right? And Prabhupada studied all the commentaries, and scrutinizedly he studied and he gave that which we can understand. So we have to maintain this loyalty towards Srila Prabhupada by just and just listening to Srila Prabhupada's lectures and to bona fide spiritual masters. Otherwise, we will also be swayed away, even though we may be part of the, Chaitanya Sampradaya. Right? Ritvikism. Ritvikism is another problem. So there are many problems. So we have to safeguard our Krishna consciousness by carefully understanding what is Vidya, what is Avidya, what is the so-called knowledge, even in the Vidya terms. It may seem to look spiritual knowledge, but is it leading me to stay faithful and loyal to Srila Prabhupada? Right? So then we will start with mantra 11. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, no? Okay. Mantra 11. Vidyam cha vidyam cha yes tato vedopyam saha avidyam mrityum tritva vidyamritam asnute. Now here, Isopanisad is talking about establishing a balance between vidya, the transcendental knowledge, and avidya, the knowledge of nescience. And what is the benefit that what we wanted from what we are looking from the nescient knowledge can never be achieved, but it can be achieved through the transcendental knowledge. Today there is the medical industry, it is expanded. The cosmetic world, it has expanded. Or you see food industry, it has expanded. But what is all these are doing so? They want to somehow or the other extend our lifespans. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to be immortal, isn't it? But just by expanding nescient, the avidya, you will not achieve deathlessness. Only by taking shelter of the transcendental knowledge, one can truly become immortal. But how do we use both the nescience, the knowledge of the nescience, and the transcendental knowledge, and move in the path of this immortality? So here, it says that one result is obtained. How did we say that? Sorry. Oh, yeah. So in the verse 10, we have seen one result is obtained from Vidya, one result is obtained from Avidya. In the mantra 11, we will be talking about how do we balance it to achieve the path of immortality. Word to word meaning, Vidyam, knowledge in fact, cha, and Avidyam, nescience, cha, and yaha, a person who, tat, that, Veda knows, ubhayam, both, saha, simultaneously, avidya, by the culture of nescience, mrityum, repeated death, tritva, transcending, vidyaya, by the culture of knowledge, amritam, deathlessness, asnute, enjoys. Translation: one who learns the process of nescience and that of the transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Now, no one wants to die, but that is for sure, right? No one wants to be deceased, but disease is there. No one wants to have old age, but old age is certain, right? But we are trying, what is the material education, what is the material knowledge doing? It is trying to solve this problem somehow or the other. And if you take the example of Hiranyakashipu was also doing the same thing, right? He did tapasya, but what was the boon he asked from Brahma? I want to be immortal. Right? Then Brahma said that I myself am not immortal. I have a cycle. And when my cycle finishes, I have to leave. So I cannot avoid you. Then Hiranyakashipu thought that he was very intelligent. Then he says that, I don't want to be killed in the morning. I don't want to be killed in the night. I don't want to be killed by an animal. I don't want to be killed by a man, by a demigod, by a weapon, right? In the house, outside the house, in the sky, or on the earth. Then who came? Lord Nrsimhadev came. And he kept all the words, in fact, true. He didn't kill him in the sky or on the earth, right? He didn't kill in the house or outside the house. He didn't kill him in the morning or in the night, but during the twilight, right? And Lord Nrsimhadev is not a demigod, not an animal, not a human. He's half man, half lion. And he didn't use any weapon, but he used his nails, right? So how much ever the intelligent the scientist can be, how much ever intelligent anyone can be to push aside the immortality, whatever the advancements we make, we won't be successful. Prabhupada says that too many small little Hiranyakashipus exist in today's world. Right? They're so busy, somehow or the other, trying to crack the codes to stop death. So everyone is struggling for existence because this is under the laws of nature and we cannot overcome the laws of nature. But what are the scriptures advising, the transcendental knowledge is advising, you can become happy. How do you become happy? By taking the shelter of the Shastras. Here Prabhupada says, what kind of Shastras? Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, the Hiranyakashipu, what was he interested in? What is his name means? Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means bed. So he's basically interested in gold and women, sense gratification. So Prabhupada says that the whole society is now full of little tiny Hiranyakashipus. They're just busy in sense gratification and economic development. But these Vedic scriptures teach us what they do. What do they teach us? They teach us dharma, artha, kama, moksha. How do we utilize all these things? We have to establish dharma to gain self-realization, and artha and kama for the bodily maintenance, and moksha, ultimate preparation to return home back to Godhead. Right? This is a proper layout of the Vedic scriptures. Like, how do you utilize that? Now, we do need material knowledge for the bodily maintenance only. We don't completely disown it. Say, for example, we are using the technology. Today we are on the Zoom call. We are using the technology. But this technology is not the purpose of our life. We utilize this knowledge for best use of the bad bargain to facilitate our Krishna consciousness. Right? So material miseries, what do they remind? Birth, death, old age, and disease. What are they constantly reminding us? That we are incompatible with the matter. So intelligent people, what do? They take these reminders very seriously and they utilize in helping in their Krishna consciousness. Yes, we understand, we are affected with the disease, we are affected with the old age. Anyway, say, for example, I get fever. I'm not this body. Why do I care about my fever? No. I should take enough necessary precautions and measures to get rid of the fever. But that should not only be the purpose of our lives. So, avidya is helping not to overcome the cycle of birth and death. Again and again, this topic is coming, because this is what it is doing to us. It is only helping us to be in sense gratification. And sense gratification, to achieve sense gratification, we have to work like an ass, right? Unless and until you have economic development, you don't have enough sense enjoyment, right? So the whole world is tuned in the same mantra. Work more, work, what is that mantra? Work, consume, sorry, I forgot the mantra. Just give me a second. Anyone knows this mantra?
Talk less.
What did you say, Mataji? Sorry, I missed it.
Work more, talk less.
Work more, talk less. No. There is a cycle. This is a mantra in the West. Usually they say, work, consume, die. In between, there is another word. Maybe by tomorrow, I'll try to get it. Yeah. There are 4 things, The material education is just, the material advancement is only promoting only to that. So here, Prabhupada also gives an example of that, if you have a fever of 105, yes, Shubham Prabhu, sorry.
Is it, Mataji, work, buy, consume, die?
Right. Work, buy, consume, die. You work first, you buy, you consume, and you die. It's a constant cycle. This is what the Niscians, the knowledge of the Niscians is promoting us. Right? So Prabhupada gives the example here in this purport saying that, it's actually a very long purport if you have studied. Prabhupada says that, if someone has a fever of 105, they should not increase their fever to 107, but they should decrease their fever to 96.8. Right? So the human form of life, the opportunity that we have, we should utilize for spiritual advancement, not increase our material fever. So Vedas regulate the human activities. How do they regulate? Again, establishing a regulated way by engaging us in dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So materially we are fulfilled, and spiritually also we are inspired to leave this material world. So that's why we need to have a balance between the avidya and vidya. Right? And the path of avidya, here the last but one paragraph, Prabhupada says, the path of avidya is the most perfectly presented in Srimad Bhagavatam, which directs a human being to utilize his life to inquire into absolute truth. The absolute truth is realized step by step as Brahman, Paramatma, and finally Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. The absolute truth is realized by broad-minded man who has attained knowledge and detachment by following the 18 principles of Bhagavad Gita. You remember the 18 principles which were listed? 13.8 to the 12. Described in the purport of Mantra 10. The central purpose of the 18 principles is to attain the transcendental devotional service of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, all the classes of men are encouraged to learn the art of devotional service to the Lord. Then Prabhupada quotes the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-14. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan sattvatam patihi shrotavya kirtavyascha dhyaye pujasya nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. Unless religion, economic development, and sense gratification aim towards the attainment of devotional service to the Lord, they are simply different forms of nescience, as Sri Isopanisad indicates in the following mantras. So, in the mantra 11 is basically teaching us that we should balance in the sense that we should use the material knowledge for the bodily maintenance, but our aim is to hear, glorify, and remember Krishna and engage in devotional service. Right? And you see how from mantra 1 to mantra 11, how it is tuning. First, there is the establishment of who Krishna is as a complete whole. Right? And then first mantra, it is explaining the Ishavasya principle, how he is the proprietor and controller. And verse 2 is talking about art of living, how to engage, because we cannot remain inactive. We have to engage in work. And mantra 3 is talking about if you don't engage in the activities of devotional service, what will you become? You will become a killer of the soul. Then again, Isopanisad is talking about establishment of Krishna's qualities. Why he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead and why we have to worship him. Then he establishes the systematic way of seeing Krishna and the explanation of the Uttamadhikari's vision. Then there is the description of Vidya and Avidya. Right? So I have a small task for the next week. I want you to list out the themes that you came across so far. So like there are 7 themes, and you can think about what are the 7 themes that Isopanisad is covering, right? Because pretty much from 12 to the 18, the same themes also run in. Like an example, it's defeating impersonalism, right? This is a theme that we see in the Isopanisad. So can you think of 7 themes that Isopanisad is taking us to? Right? Are there any questions or comments or anything that you want to add? But we should be reading these purports because the purports are really enriched with so many points. Right? Because now you have 4 days before the next class. So take time to read the purports. So you got my assignment, right? The assignment that, put the Isopanisad in 7 themes, categorize in 7 themes. What are the 7 themes that you have so far found? Any takeaway points from today's class? Anyone wants to share? Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, the takeaway point from verse number 11 was like, it's not about just the material knowledge. We have to, we should know about the spiritual knowledge as well, the both sides of the spiritual knowledge. The dark side, as you mentioned, the up sampradayas also. We should know about them. Yeah, there are such things happening and we should stay away from them. What are those? We should not be like a sober child and anyone can come and fool us. So we should be properly equipped with the knowledge of what to do and what not to do.
Right, right.
What is right and what is wrong.
Yes. Yes, Dayamataji?
Mataji, I wanna, whatever the Shubham Prabhu has said, that is like, I'm also talking on that. That is like, in today's world, this is very common. Many people are like, we see social media, they are interpreting and saying according to their own knowledge, but we don't know their source of knowledge is authentic or not. So
Right.
we should read by ourselves. So first thing is we should read by ourselves, and the importance of balancing between spiritual and the material education is very important. And the third thing is I must educate, I must teach myself enough that if someone come and they say something wrong about Prabhupada, I must be able to like
Defend.
not say argue, but defend. Yes.
Very nice. Now I have a question for you. Does Okay, we are in the proper sampradaya. We are under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Does still avidya affect us? Like in the sense that not in the sense that the material knowledge itself, but even in the spiritual practices. Does avidya affect us? Can you think of an example? I don't know. I think I didn't frame the question properly, but yeah, I'm trying. Yes, Shubham Prabhu.
Mataji, I know someone in the temple, like I found them like really misinterpreting one of the principles of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which was we should respect all the demigods. So rather than respecting, they were worshipping. They're starting worshipping the demigods also. So they said that yeah, it is written in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that we should respect demigods. So there's two different things. Categorically, it's two different things. To respect and to worship, it's basically two different things.
Right.
So we have seen like yeah, these things happening.
Right. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. Jyoti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Like avidya, like in order to understand the Prabhupada's purport, we need to be in the right constitutional position, and we should be in that service attitude to understand what he's exactly saying. Like some people, they favor making big temples and like very crafty and decorative walls and all those to support all these things. But actually, Prabhupada has emphasized that preaching is more important, book distribution is more important. That is the essence. Building temple is okay, but first we should emphasize on preaching and book distribution. But some people might think, okay, if we make big temples, people will automatically come. But it is like that is not what exactly Srila Prabhupada has taught us.
Okay, but temples do have, their like oasis, spiritual oasis in the material world. So they are also necessary. So yeah, true. Prabhupada wanted that, book distribution should be always in the forefront. But according to the time, place, and circumstance, Prabhupada also created, he wanted temples to be very, very gorgeously big, presented.
Yes, Mataji, what I was actually telling is the priority, the priority in which we should place the things. Like
Right. Very nice. Thank you. Yes, Vaibhavi Mataji.
Mataji, I've seen in my temple few people. They say that we should respect other sampradayas and we should not disrespect people. But by saying these things, they have started following other sampradayas as well. And just because the spokesperson is good with the words and is good with Vyaspeeth, they have started following the teachings and they have actually started preaching that. And with that, they come with the statement that preach what you practice. So they practice what they preach, and they're practicing like they're following the other acharyas, the other sampradayas, and also calling themselves the member of ISKCON, and they follow Prabhupada. They're diehard devotees of Prabhupada, and so on, so on. But they're following the other sampradayas as well. So I think this is somehow connected to avidya.
Right. And then also, yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, we should always be careful whom are we following and what are the teachings, Is it aligned with Prabhupada and our spiritual master, or is it deviant? We should be always very, very careful. Okay, now what you have discussed or what you have shared is on a very societal level. But now I'm asking individual level, how would you say that you are affected by avidya or not in your spiritual practices? I can share an example. Like, sometimes it happens, I become too enthusiastic. And then I say yes to all the sevas. Yes. Then I don't have time to read. I don't have time to chant. I don't have time for my own sadhana. I don't have time for my morning program, you know. And the effect doesn't show on one day. The effect shows later on. So this is also, you know, avidya, right? Because always we have to keep our sadhana as top priority. Yes, we have to do devotional services, undoubtedly. We should help devotees. But again, we should be a little bit mindful, you know. Can I really manage all these things? You know? Yes, by Babi Mataji.
Madhuri, I would say that at times I get really sick with my health. I've been dealing a lot of things, so it actually deviates me from the statement which I used to follow, that we are not the body, we are the soul, and we should be detached from this body. So when it comes to my health, I'm always like crying and crawling. Why it is happening with me? Why am I suffering?
First of all, you know, we at least for me, I will speak for myself. I don't have realization that I'm not this body. You know, if I hit my leg somewhere, I will be in pain and I'll be weaning and I'll be crying for sure. Because I don't have that kind of realization established in my heart. So that's okay, you know, you should care for your body. See, we are not striving only for detachment here. We are striving for Krishna Bhakti. When Krishna Bhakti is there, everything else will automatically come. This is like an example from the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. When someone is a hungry man, if you give him a nice, satisfying meal, he eats, his hunger is gone, and at the same time, he feels very, you know, very satisfied. So, and then at the same time, he is detached from anything more that is coming to him, right? So we don't need to impose detachment on us. Detachment will come. And if you're having bad health, we have to learn, we have to take precautions to protect it, you know, to avoid that kind of situations.
But Madhji, what to do if you just can't do anything about it? I mean, it just happened and you have to live with it. And then you have some kind of,
It's very difficult. Yes, it is very difficult. But still, you know, you're a very determined person already. You know, you're attending whole Bhakti Shastri, you're chanting your rounds, you're intelligently using your mind intelligence in the Shastra. Now you can use whatever the facility you have, use it to help your Krishna consciousness. Material situations and circumstances are not the barriers for our progress in Krishna consciousness. Right? Yes, what cannot be done, it cannot be done, you know. But you're also gifted. Just don't be saddened that you know you are limited. But you're also gifted by Krishna in many, many ways. So discover those gifts. Then it will help you be more enthusiastic. Is that okay, Mataji?
yes, Madhji, thank you.
Thank you. Shubham Prabhu.
Mataji, sometimes like we know the principle, like we should offer, when we offer, we should at least keep it the bhoga plate for at least 5-15 minutes. So what usually happens when I'm hungry, when I make the bhoga quickly and just put in your hand of Lord, say the mantras very fast, and just close the curtain for 2-3 minutes and say, pray Krishna, please do it fast. I have to eat. I'm hungry. So that's why I like where I can see myself, yeah, I'm not following the principles correctly. I know the things, but yeah, sometimes,
Yeah, so that means that, you know, okay, so then we can become a little bit more organized, you know, okay, I need this amount of time. You know, it happens with me also. Yeah, I also, my housemate always complains, how come that you leave only for 5 minutes? I leave it for 15 minutes before the Lord. Yeah, we always have this clash. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Krishna Priya Mataji.
And Pranam Mataji, Mataji, as you are teaching Isopanisad and maybe so many people will be teaching Isopanisad in ISKCON. So, is there any list, just like Vaishnava Aparad, Nama Aparad, of Vidya and Avidya, so that because we are learning, we are neophytes in this, we are learning what is Vidya and Avidya. So, is there any particular thing? Because what I see is Vidya and Avidya depends on uh, your current situation, the place where you are, and the people you are dealing with.
Okay.
What
So
is their culture?
we don't have, I don't know, I'm also very much neophyte. I'm sure I'm more neophyte than you. But there is, I don't know if there is any such list as such. But as you said, how do we deal with it? If you're not able to solve by yourself, always take guidance. Sadhu Guru Shastra. Always ask. And do not be hesitant that, what if I ask, do I look small or, left out from the group? It's never like that. We always have to take shelter. And it's always good to take shelter. Any doubt, am I doing it right? You can just ask. And I can give an example of my personal thing. I cannot do very elaborate deity worships. I'm not that inclined, that person, but I do have deities. So I took my mentor, they told me that keep the deity worship a very small standard. I keep a very low standard, but I stick to that low standard, right? But this is what I can do, because I have also services in the temple and I'm running around. So, but this is something I can manage. But if you say, I have seen devotees who does such an elaborate, beautiful worships, now I cannot compare myself with them, right? But I'm doing what is I can do, right? So we can always take guidance, and see that, how can I apply this principles? Am I right? I'm doing right or wrong? That's why it is important that we should always be in touch with our Siksha Gurus. Yeah.
Actually, my next question is like, we're going to complete this whole section in next week. So our exam will be the coming Sunday, or it will be along with the nectar of instruction?
I have no idea about this one. Maybe some of the organizers, they can give a better idea, understanding. I have no idea. Sorry.
Schedule the week, so that's it.
Yeah. Jyoti Mataji, your hand was raised.
Yes, Mataji, I just wanted to add this point from myself that like I have very much difficulty in making routine because of like how I plan how a Krishna conscious day should be, but it always goes haywire. Like it is not never sets like how I think of it.
Right, me too. Yeah, it happens with me. Oftentimes, in the morning I plan so many things and it always goes away. But at least, we have fixed activities at the fixed times. That will also help. Like, you're chanting, at least, like a rough thing. In the morning, I'm chanting these many rounds. And in a day, I will be reading this much of amount of Shastra. And then I will be hearing these many lectures per week. That is also a regulation.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mataji.
yeah, this is also, yeah, I can understand. This is also falls into a kind of avidya, on us that, yeah, becoming regularly irregular. Yeah. So we will end here for today. So assignment for tomorrow, also for this week, is writing down the themes of Ishopanishad. What are the 7 themes that you can think of what is Ishopanishad establishing, right? So next week, we will come together and discuss verses 12 to the 18, the last week. 12, 13, 14 is a triplet again. And 15 to 18, we will see begging for Lord's mercy. And then how the Lord will, we are asking for benedictions, from the Lord. Okay, so thank you. Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Forgive me for all my shortcomings. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.